Okay. Okay, if anyone gets this, The Mandalorian will be recorded every Friday, with topics being recorded on the planned day, Wednesday. So, yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. We are going to be good to go. So, yeah, and I was just gonna say, I've been waiting the whole season to do the first episode of the Wednesday Awakens since, of course, the to Star Wars Day to do a full episode. And it's, of course, been a while. But here we go. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get to this podcast off the ground, I had so many questions. How do I record an episode? Where do I find my background music? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? Where do I find the advertisers? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing and monetizing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and 100% ridiculously easy to use. So, if you want to start a podcast, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Alright, guys. Welcome to the Wednesday Awakens. Today on the episode of the Wednesday Awakens, we're going to be talking about some of the things. Like with Star Wars VR game, Tales from Galaxy's Edge, the villains of the High Republic revealed, but although we're going to end the episode with the Mandalorian review, Chapter 9, The Marshal. Which is, of course, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. First, spoiler free, but as always, whenever we're about to end the episode, I'm going to do a full review, and there's going to be a spoiler warning for those who haven't seen Chapter 9 or Season 2, Episode 1. Season 2 premiere of The Mandalorian. So, you know. But we're going to cover the topics first. And then it'll be The Mandalorian. So, when the season 2 premiered, when season 2 premiered on Disney Plus, like, I checked on 12 a.m. Wasn't there. 12:30. Wasn't there. 1. Wasn't there. 1:30. Was not there. And 1:45. Wasn't there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Then I checked at 2:30. Then I watched season 2 of The Mandalorian. And of course, I'm gonna have to say about this season, the season premiere is completely awesome. Yeah, that's the truth, everyone. Mandalorian season 2 is completely awesome. I mean, it features a lot of characters, and of course, the deck they played out. I will reveal it in a bit, but the plot of Chapter 9 is, of course, about, you know, where the Mando makes an encounter with the guy on a familiar planet that is named the Marshal. So that's pretty much, you know, the thing. And then of course, there's a return of actress Amy Sedaris, where of course with the, you know, and a feature cast of this episode are John Leguizamo, who played Sid on Ice Age, and of course, he also, but the featured character in the chapter is of course none other than Timothy Oliphant. I thought he was really spot on, you know? Well, not spot on completely, but, you know. At first I thought he was a tease. And it includes this familiar face, the Star Wars actor, and of course, everything will be revealed right here before we gotta end the episode of this podcast. There's gonna be a spoiler warning, everyone. So, if you have not watched Chapter 9, the season premiere, no. There is gonna be some spoiler warning. Go see it now. Well, you've been warned. And that wasn't part of the deal. Yep, congratulations. If you're the ones who did watch the episode, here's a... Yep, let me recap this for you. This is the way. So, the episode begins with the previously on The Mandalorian, the full recap of Season 1. That one, no recapping needed, because the show already did that for you. Like from the Mandalorian's, from the Mando's intro through Moff Gideon's dark saber. But if you start watching The Mandalorian Season 2, got Disney Plus, then you missed the whole thing. Although we are going to be talking about, and we see Din Djarin, the Mando, if you like to call him, and Baby Yoda going on the planet. A mysterious planet because he's looking for someone named Geo Koresh. No relations to David Koresh of Waco. And of course he of course, the guy who's doing the Tay, of course, asks about Baby Yoda if he's a little young to see this type of fight, but Djarin said he's seen worse. The little ones see worse, and then they go down to the fight pit with, of course, the fight pit of 2 Gamorreans. And then, without armor. And then we meet with, of course, Geo Koresh. And said that children are not supposed to see that. But Jared just gave him a reminder. Wherever he goes, wherever I go, he goes. Referring to Baby Yoda as he goes. And then I'm starting to enjoy the fight. And then, of course, Koresh had ruined everything by shooting the Gamorrean who was about to finish off. And then, you didn't say the magic word. Magic word. And they, of course, died. Then Geo made the escape. The Gamorrean just pulled over ropes, did some wrestling moves. Like the, like a 450 splash, either 450 splash as Justin Gabriel or, former Justin Gabriel. Or the floor hog splash like the late Eddie Guerrero, and then landed on the seat. The 2 more, of course, were getting knocked out cold. But then Geo made his escape. But nope, he was caught. But in the interrogation of the Mandalorian armor, where that person in the Mandalorian armor is. Because he's looking for that Mandalorian. And they, told him that he was in Tatooine. I was like, great. Now we're going to go back to the Skywalker Saga planet. But if it's for the Mandalorian they're talking about, it's really important. And then Geo asked if the Mando's going to let him go. But Jared says that wasn't part of the deal. And of course,
turn off the light, and Geo was eaten to death. Then to cue the new title card. And chapter died. It is called The Marshal. And we see Jared and Baby Yoda going to Planet Tatooine, and they have an encounter with the same character, played by Amy Sedaris, who was seen on Chapter 5, The Assassin. And of course asked, if he was brought here to, to get Baby Yoda to her, but Jared was on the assignment from the Armorer from Chapter 8 Redemption, where he's looking for the little one's kind to bring him back to the home planet. And that planet didn't exist because it was removed from the map. And then, of course, asked for the speeder bike. And then we see a speeder bike go into the sea. And then made it stop and hanging out with Tusken Raiders. And again with the sign language. The only way to get them a friendly encounter is through sign language, like Din Djarin did. And then entered and then slowly ride the speeder to the village, which looks different from Mos Eisley, because this is not Mos Eisley. And it's just like a... And then he made an encounter with the bartender. And the bartender, however, just says he is, you don't usually serve, people like Jaren over there. And of course, we got to see Boba Fett, who survived the Starlight Pit and finally got out, but it was not the same. But even though, of course, I'll be right back with this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. It was not Boba Fett, it was a man in a Boba Fett film. Well, oh yeah, it was Mos Pelgo. But, like I say, it was Timothy Fett's Cobb Vanth. So yeah, it was Cobb Vanth, of course, who is named the Marshal. And of course, Jaren has demanded him to get the armor, to give. Yep, demanded Fett to get the armor, but then backstabs him, saying he'll have to take it. And the two are about to have a shootout, but they were interrupted by a crate dragon. with, now of course, you know, and the citizens of Mos Pelgo. Well, that one was different from Mos Eisley, but I do have to admit, they did something original for once. Well, pardon the pun. And then of course, everyone survives except for the Bantha, who became Dragon Chow. And then of course, they agree to work together, and yes, and Confess gave the Mando the deal. If he ever, you know, if the Mando kills the Krayt Dragon, he'll give him the armor of Boba Fett. He'll get Boba Fett's armor to him after he killed it. You know what's the deal? And he's on his speeder bike, and Confess is also in his speeder bike custom with a piece of Anakin's pod racer. With a piece of Anakin's pod racer. And I gotta say, I like the costume. Because that is, of course, the best costume ever. But then, of course, he remembers his last days of the end of the war. But the end of the war was happy times, but unfortunately for the happy times are over because of the people of the Mos Pelgo were tragically killed by miners. You know, the industry miners, and only the bartender at the Mos Pelgo Cantina and Vance survived. But instead, he took the crystals. And then, of course, he had no food, no water, and he was left for dead until saved by the Sandcrawler carrying with Jawas, where they were carrying like the trade for the crystal droids, but he wanted the armor of Boba Fett that was found in the sands of the Sarlacc pit. That of course the Sarlacc, of course. No. And Boba Fett, yes, is confirmed. But no. But, you know, the armor, however, because it takes about, again, like I say, the Sarlacc pit, no joke, I'm serious on this one, takes about 1,000 years to complete digest. No? But in Legends, he made it out alive. But we're going to reveal in canon. And of course, back to, and then he made an encounter at the cantina, confronting the ones who killed, the ones who celebrated the Empire's, you know, fall. Well, of course, the war wasn't over yet until Jakku. And then he shot most of them. But with one running, he used the missile. And then, of course, they had an encounter with the beast. And then, Jared's like, right. That's there. Which is Tush. Which is Tuckish. No, Tuskish. And then as he approaches, Beth would told Jared, what the hell is he doing? And yeah, he said, what the hell is he doing? Then, he just remembered that Daddy petted the one like a dog. You know? Well, at least it wasn't like, you know, the season finale, but the only positive of Game of Thrones, sorry, the series finale of Game of Thrones, which is the only positive, with Jon Snow finally petting Ghost. And overall, that season was terrible. Trust me. But then, counter Tusken Raiders, we sound different. And then, of course, fans was that asking, you know, with Mando speaking Tuskish, and then fans ask, what's the business of the Tusken Raiders? You know, the Sand People. And of course, Mando said they are here to kill the Krayt Dragon too. And then, of course, it's overnight. They were hanging out, and of course, asked if he could, you know, the Tusken Raider asked Beth if he wanted to drink, but and of course, he defies them, makes fun of their, you know, storage, and of course, Beth says, of course, was the one who shot his people. It's because the Tusken Raiders, of course, raided the Mos Pero, and of course, that Tusken Raider got really pissed off. And the only way to separate them, of course, use his flamethrower. And then to calm the Tusken Raider, and of course, to tell Ben that the Krayt Dragon will about to eat them if they heard them arguing. If it hears them arguing. And then the next day, the Tusken Raider is about to get the baked them with Betha. They made the sound, but of course, the Krayt Dragon did not eat the Bantha, but eaten the Raider, however, for making a noise. And then they came up with a game plan. They gathered some villagers. No, because they're gonna need backup. And then they had a meeting. Rabble. You know, like, well, I guess South Park meeting, however. But I think I saw one of the villagers that kind of looks like a Kim Jong-un of North Korea. That was nice of Jon Favreau asking the supreme leader in North Korea to make an appearance. And then, of course, with of course, like, you know, the Tusken Raiders, and then they were not happy about it. And then, of course, we have, but then they agree because, you know, both people have in common is to hunt the Krayt Dragon. And then they were packing up explosives. And then an interesting confrontation between the raiders and the villagers. But Beth, who is the marshal of Mos Pero, saying that was an accident, gave you the defense of the Tusken Raider. You know. And then everyone will. A hunting day will go, a hunting day will go. I owe the burial, the hunting day will go. And of course, 3 Tusken Raiders called out the dragon. And then call the Mando Din Djarin! Captain Djarin! Call him Ismail! You know, like call me Ishmael with Moby Dick, but they got the Crate Dragon, and of course, it was going down, but the villagers and Jared and Fifth were not going to go down with a fight. And then they tried to do with the explosives. And then, of course, went from Thar she blows to Thor she pukes. Now, like I say, I'm not complaining about vomit or anything, but that was disgusting. But then now, but the Q, of course, was eager. But then when it set the timing of the stomach about Plan A, it, of course, failed. With the stomach, didn't work. Explosive, and then, of course, the Crate Dragon was, of course, vomiting everywhere. Yeah, it was vomiting onto the villagers. Again, vomiting out acid. Like I thought of when I was a child, I got confused with Mario. With Mario vomiting, which it actually turns out it was fireballs. It wasn't throw up, it was fireballs. But that one is a complete throw up. And we are right now going to be, talking about. And then they fly up. Plan B. And of course, Plan B did not work either. Okay, now they go to Plan C. Yep, it's Plan C. It's together ground. Of course, the Mando gave them the Han Solo treatment, and then of course, bait the bantha. Yep, it baited the Crate Dragon with the bantha, but unfortunately gone up. Like hit the jetpack like Han Solo did on Return of the Jedi. We're worried about Boba Fett. But he couldn't see Boba Fett as he hit his jetpack. And then of course, the Bantha and the Joe were eaten. So, yeah. We want to pay our respects. Let's pay our respects to Din Djarin, who paid the ultimate sacrifice. And of course, and who's been eaten. And of course, as a friendly encounter with, who befriended the Tusken Raiders, who were savages to the villagers, that then, of course, with the Marshal, however, will now be the next in line for the. Wait a minute! Oh, he survived! Oh, goody! And then hit the detonator, and the Crate Dragon is dead. I gotta say, well done. I mean, that plan wasn't the best, but it's still well done. And then, of course, everyone's celebrating. And of course, picking off bones of the carcass. And then Baby Yoda got the raw meat. And of course, the Mando Siths, say that he's, it was supposed to, that he didn't have the time to, to talk about the plan right before he was eaten by the Great Dragon, and then miraculously got out because the electrical particles, and then an advance at the end gave him Boba Fett's armor, said deal's a deal. But they were shaking hands. But I'm pretty sure they got, Oh yeah, when the Tusken Raider usually I laugh because of the one-liners. But when the one-liners was said by the Marshal, when of course the Tusken Raider got eaten, I was like, yikes! Even that one-liner was too terrifying for me to laugh. Because that was a big dragon. And then, after he left, the little Tusken kid has got the ball. Like, seriously? Seriously? That one Tusken Raider? That one Tusken Raider has finally, wait, the ball, like, that Tusken Raider is looking for its ball, and that dragon just ate its ball? Ah, get back here! Ah, get back here! I wanted this to be talked about. I demanded an explanation. And that's what I said. I demanded an explanation for this. And then of course, when the Mandos set off to the binary sunset, we see none other than, of course, Jango Fett. Oh, I'm sorry, Boba Fett, who is actually still alive. Who is of course still alive, and he is of course, I'd say, yeah, that's why I said this episode is awesome. It's completely awesome. The introduction of a tease with an ant dead on a shocking cliffhanger, and it ends with a shock. And yes, I told you guys, he made it out of the Sarlacc pit, but he took off his acid armor. And now, that's what I'm saying, of course. We are going to... But I'm going to give you my score on this. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. Sure, not too sure of where they're going back, but and then, of course, they go to the new area. And of course, the Marshal, the character of Vance, who is a title episode character, is really, that's well performed. And the Tusken Raiders and villagers being unlikely allies was developed well. And that Great Dragon, of course, was big in size. It is like a mixer of Tremor and Moby Dick have a child. And of course the ending with with the reveal of the fate of Boba Fett. That's why I'm going to say that this episode is completely awesome. Because, you know, I give this a 9.5 out of 10. Just, you know, because it's my show, damn it. I can do what I want. You know, and don't be wise ass with me. But other than that, what do you guys think of Chapter 9, The Marshal? Just let me know in the comments if this comes out on YouTube. Alright guys, we're gonna end the episode right here.